The Senate will come back to order. The Senate will come back to order. All right, the Senate will come back to order. Mr. Secretary, can you please read the caption to House Bill 865?
House Bill 865 by Representative Scoggins of the 14th and others. A bill to be entitled an act to amend Title 53 of the Official Code of Georgia, annotated relating to wills, trusts, and administration of estates, to amend Part 12 of Article 1 of Chapter 1 of Title 7 of OCGA relating to deposits of deceased depositors, to amend Title 9 of the OCGA relating to civil practice, to amend Title 10 of the OCGA relating to commerce and trade, to amend Article 2 of Chapter 5 of Title 13 of OCGA relating to the statute of frauds, to amend Chapter 9 of Title 15 of the OCGA relating to probate courts, to amend Title 19 of the OCGA relating to domestic relations, to amend Article 3 of Chapter 2 of Title 23 of the OCGA relating to fraud, to amend Chapter 27 of Title 50 of OCGA relating to lottery for education and for other purposes. Mr. President, the Senate Committee on Judiciary recommends this bill do pass by substitute. Senator Stone of the 23rd District, Chair. Mr. President, the Senate Judiciary Committee offers the following substitute to HB 865. A bill to be entitled an act to amend Title 53 of the Official Code of Georgia, annotated relating to wills, trusts, and administration of estates, so as to revise and update provisions for the revised probate code of 1998, to update grammar, to provide for and revise definitions, and for other purposes. Mr. President, that completes the order.
Chair recognizes the senator from the 23rd to speak to House Bill 865.
Thank you, Mr. President. Senators, House Bill 865 comes to us from the fiduciary law section of the State Bar. It's gone through a very lengthy process of vetting by the State Bar to get their recommendation. It follows on the heels of several efforts in the past, the revision of the probate code in 1998, the guardianship code in 2005, and the trust code in 2010, as well as the adoption of numerous uniform acts in this area, such as most recently last year, the power of attorney legislation. It focuses on adjustments in the jurisdiction between probate court and superior courts. It also augments probate court procedures to restore finality in solemn form probate of wills. It extends time for creditors to file claims and times for interested parties to file objections to wills. It strengthens Georgia's doctrine of year support. This is, as you may recall, is where Georgia allows a widow or dependent children to carve out a portion of the estate for their support. It makes it clear that the property that's set aside it is divested of ad valorem taxes for 1 year. Even if the parties have already paid that, it would extend if the taxes have been paid, it would extend them until the next year. In the area of wills and execution of wills, it allows codification of the procedure that all of you who have wills probably have run into, and that is recognizing the personal property list of items where you don't want to clutter up your will, but you refer in your will to another list. Well, this formalizes that process and recognizes it. Also, in the area of will contests, there have been a number of appellate cases that have dealt with this. It's known as inter terrorum clauses. It allows for parties to get interpretations of wills or get accounting from fiduciaries without violating a no contest provision, which could cut them out of the will altogether. It recognizes priorities of year support or family obligations over such obligations as lottery claims. It comes to us with input from the family law section, the Council of Probate Court Judges, and representatives of the banking industry and the Attorney General's office. Also, considerable input came from Professor Mary Radford, who has been the primary drafter of previous revisions of our trust and estates code. I'll be happy to answer any questions. The bill is fairly lengthy. It's 124 sections, and it's really a lawyer's bill aimed at helping. It's by the practitioners in this area, and it's aimed at making the practice work better. If there are no questions, Mr. President, I urge a positive vote on HB 865.
Senator, you have no questions.
Thank you.
Does any other senator wish to speak for or against House Bill 865? The chair sees none. The question is on the adoption of the committee substitute. Is there objection to adoption of the committee substitute? Chair hears none. The committee substitute is adopted. Is there objection to agreeing to the report of the committee which is favorable to the passage of the bill? Chair hears none. The report of the committee is agreed to. Is there objection to the main question being ordered? Chair hears none, and the main question is ordered. Questions on the passage of the bill by substitute. All those in favor of the bill will vote yea. Opposed, nay. The Secretary will unlock the machine. Have all senators voted? We got two more coming. We only have one person who hasn't voted. We're good. Oh, we got one more. Okay. You're good to go. All senators voted. Mr. Secretary, please lock the machine. On the passage of the bill, the yeas are 50, the nays are 0. This bill, having received the requisite constitutional majority, is therefore passed by substitute. Mr. Secretary, can you please read the caption of House Bill 907?
House Bill 907 by Representative Saines of the 180th and others, a bill to be entitled an act to amend Part 2 of Article 2 of Chapter 4 of Title 38 of the Official Code of Georgia annotated relating to the war veterans' home so as to include an additional time period of service in the definition of, quote, war veteran, close quote. Mr. President, the Senate Committee on Veterans, Military, and Homeland Security recommends that this bill do pass. Senator Thompson of the 14th District Chair. That completes the order.
Chair recognizes the senator from the 3rd to present House Bill 907.
Thank you, Mr. President. This is a simple bill, but it's very important. It allows veterans who served in the armed services for the period between beginning January 1 of 1947 and ending on June 26 of 1950 to have access to our war veterans retirement homes. And the reason for this is there was a gap in the law that did not allow them to have that access. So I'll be glad to take any questions.
Does any senator have a question? The chair sees none.
I yield the will.
Does any other senator wish to speak for or against House Bill 907? Chair sees none. Is there objection to agreeing to the report of the committee which is favorable to the passage of the bill? Chair hears none. The report of the committee is agreed to. Is there objection to the main question being ordered? Chair hears none. The main question is ordered. Questions on the passage of the bill. All those in favor of the bill will vote yea. Opposed, nay. The Secretary will unlock the machine. Have all senators voted? Have all senators voted? All right, we got a thumbs up in the back. Mr. Secretary, please close the machine. On the passage of the bill, the yeas are 48, the nays are 0. This bill, having received the requisite constitutional majority, is therefore passed. Mr. Secretary, can you please read the caption of House Bill 912?
House Bill 912 by Representative Reeves of the 34th and others, a bill to be entitled an act to amend Chapter 5 of Title 49 of the Official Code of Georgia annotated relating to programs and protection for children and youth so as to authorize foster parents to arrange for short-term babysitting. Mr. President, the Senate Committee on Judiciary recommends that this bill do pass by substitute. Senator Stone of the 23rd District Chair. Mr. President, the Senate Judiciary Committee offers the following substitute to House Bill 912, a bill to be entitled an act to amend Chapter 11 of Title 15 of Chapter 5 of Title 49 of the Official Code of Georgia annotated relating to the Juvenile Code and programs and protections for children and youth, respectively, so as to strengthen laws and support for foster children and foster families. Mr. President, that completes the order.
Chair recognizes the senator from the 17th to present House Bill 912.
Thank you, Mr. President. Members of the Senate, I bring to you House Bill 912. Already have a red light. Sections 1, 2, and 4 of the bill are from Senate Bill 335. The senator from the 28th carried before this body back in February. You all voted 53-1 to pass that. The one person voted against it made them aware this bill's come back. So if I didn't talk to you about it, it wasn't you that voted against it. Otherwise, Section 3 just matches us with federal requirements for reporting of for review of extended care youth services. And Section 5 is the meat of the bill, the new change we have. And this relieves stress on foster parents and respite care providers by allowing foster parents to arrange for babysitters on a very limited basis. This is common sense to allow these parents that are trained and highly vetted by the state already to step away like any other parent to go to a work event, shopping, to a doctor, or to attend the training that's already required of them. And so with that, Mr. President, I'll be happy to answer your questions.
Does any senator have a question? Chair sees none.
Ask for your favorable consideration. Thank you.
Any other senator wish to speak for or against House Bill 912? Chair sees none. The question is on the adoption of the committee substitute. Is there objection to adoption of the committee substitute? Chair hears none. The committee substitute is adopted. Is there objection to agreeing to the report of the committee which is favorable to the passage of the bill? The chair hears none. The report of the committee is agreed to. Is there objection to the main question being ordered? Chair hears none. The main question is ordered. Questions on the passage of the bill by substitute. All those in favor of the bill will vote yea. Opposed, nay. The secretary will unlock the machine. Have all senators voted? Have all senators voted? Have all senators voted? We got a thumbs up from the outside. Mr. Secretary, please close the machine. On the passage of the bill, the yeas are 49, the nays are 0. This bill, having received the requisite constitutional majority, is therefore passed by substitute. Mr. Secretary, can you please read the caption of House Bill 1050? 1050.
House Bill 1050 by Representative Lumsden of the 12th and others, a bill to be entitled an act to amend Chapter 38 of Title 33 of the Official Code of Georgia Annotated relating to the Georgia Life and Health Insurance Guarantee Association so as to extend association protections to certain persons receiving insurance coverage from health maintenance organization subscriber contracts or health care corporation plans and for other purposes. Mr. President, the Senate Committee on Insurance and Labor recommends that this bill to pass. Senator Jones of the 25th District Chair. That completes the order.
Chair recognizes the senator from the 16th to speak to House Bill 1050.
Oh, yes. Thank you, Mr. President. This is a departmental bill that has to do with the insolvency pool of Georgia. And what it does, it brings in long-term care HMOs into the plan. It is a great consumer bill from that standpoint. And also we have all of the industries involved as far as backing it up financially. The life insurance industry is picking up 50%, which is more than they have before. It's been adopted in 27 states, and especially in the long-term care area, those policies that were sold years ago, there's some of those companies that are in struggle, and this does address that issue from a standpoint of security for our policyholders.
You have no questions.
Okay.
Any other senator have want to speak for or against House Bill 1050? Chair sees none. Is there objection to agreeing to the report of the committee which is favorable to the passage of the bill? Chair hears none. The report of the committee is agreed to. Is there objection to the main question being ordered? Chair hears none. The main question is ordered. Questions on the passage of the bill. All those in favor will vote yea. Opposed, nay. The Secretary will unlock the machine. Have all senators voted? Mr. Secretary, please close the machine. On the passage of the bill, the yeas are 48, the nays are 1. This bill, having received the requisite constitutional majority, is therefore passed. Mr. Secretary, can you read the caption of House Bill 1114, which was taken off the table earlier?
House Bill 1114 by Representatives Cooper of the 43rd and others, a bill to be entitled an act to amend Article 7 of Chapter 4 of Title 49 of the Official Code of Georgia annotated relating to medical assistance generally so as to provide for Medicaid coverage for lactation care and services and postpartum care. Mr. President, the Senate Committee on Health and Human Services recommends that this bill do pass by substitute. Senator Watson, the 1st District Chair. Mr. President, the Health and Human Services Committee offers the following substitute to House Bill 1114, a bill to be entitled an act to amend Article 7 of Chapter 4 of Title 49 of the Official Code of Georgia annotated relating to medical assistance generally, so as to provide for Medicaid coverage for lactation care and services in postpartum care and for other purposes. That completes the order.
Chair recognizes the senator from the 32nd to speak to House Bill 1114.
Thank you, Mr. President. Fellow senators, this bill addresses a serious problem that we have in Georgia with maternal mortality and infant deaths. As you know, we're in the bottom 5 states for maternal mortality. This bill is intended to support the efforts of the many professionals and advocates that have been working to improve the situation for years, and also to decrease loss of life in the postpartum period. The bill does 2 things. First, it provides Medicaid coverage for lactation care and services to pregnant and lactating women and to children who are breastfeeding. Second, it directs DCH to provide postpartum care for mothers for a period of 6 months after giving birth. It also authorizes DCH to submit a waiver if necessary to implement the bill. Although our budget crisis is affecting all our programs, this bill moves us in a better direction to cover our new moms and babies during a vulnerable period in their lives. This should pay dividends for the state in years to come. There was positive testimony from everyone who testified in the HHS committee, and the vote was unanimous in support of the bill. I'd urge your favorable consideration. Happy to answer any questions.
You have no questions.
I yield the will.
Chair recognizes the senator from the 36th to speak to the measure.
Thank you, Mr. President. Colleagues, I rise in support of the bill. You just heard the senator from the 32nd let you know that there was a unanimous vote in Health and Human Services. That both of the issues addressed in the bill are a culmination of efforts that have gone on by the advocates and by legislators who've worked diligently to address 2 very pressing needs. And the lactation issue is one that has moved forward favorably, step by step. We very much appreciate that. That is very important. And if you've got a woman in your family, be it a daughter, a granddaughter, your own spouse, that is, if you've had a nursing experience in your family, you know how central and important lactation and access to breast milk is for the health of the infant. So it's a great step forward, and we all, I think, don't have to hear yet again the statistics that the state has borne actually a lot of coverage for the fact that we've had such high maternal mortality rates. This is a step in the direction of getting health coverage for mothers, particularly in that vital postpartum period, which our studies have shown are a real danger area for a subset of moms following the birth of the child. So this is good news, and we were very happy to be united on it in our health committee, and appreciate your support. And this will be, as I said, a real plus mark on the efforts of what we get done in the Senate while we're here this week. Thank you.
Thank you, Senator. Does any other senator wish to speak for or against the measure? The chair sees none. The question is on the adoption of the committee substitute. Is there objection to adoption of the committee substitute? Chair hears none, and the committee substitute is adopted. Is there objection or agreeing to the report of the committee which is favorable to the passage of the bill? The chair hears none. The report of the committee is agreed to. Is there objection to the main question being ordered? Chair hears none. The main question is ordered. The questions on the passage of the bill by substitute. All those in favor of the bill will vote yea. Opposed, nay. The secretary will unlock the machine. Have all senators voted? Let's give it one more minute here. All senators voted your machines. There's one. We got another one running. Don't hurt yourself, Pro Tem. Take your time. All right, all senators voted. Mr. Secretary, please close the machine. On the passage of the bill, the yeas are 48, the nays are 0. This bill, having received the requisite constitutional majority, is therefore passed by substitute. For what purpose does the senator from the first rise?
Mr. President, I move that the Senate agree to the House substitute for Senate Bill 303.
Mr. Secretary, please read the caption.
Senate Bill 303 by Senators Watson of the 1st, Jones of the 25th, and others. A bill to be entitled an act to amend Chapter 24 of Title 33 of the Official Code of Georgia annotated relating to insurance generally so as to provide for greater transparency of prices for non-emergency health care services. Mr. President, this House has offered the following substitute to Senate Bill 303, a bill to be entitled an act to amend Chapter 24 of Title 33 of the Official Code of Georgia annotated relating to insurance generally so as to provide for greater transparency of prices for non-emergency health care services and for other purposes. Mr. President, that completes the order.
Chair recognizes the senator from the 1st to speak to his motion.
Thank you, Mr. President. Remember, this Senate Bill 303 has to do with the Right to Shop Act. It is requiring a transparency in the insurance industry. Remember, if you drive in quality, you drive price. And the meat of the bills there on line 83, with insurers will be able to provide a website. The changes, the reason it's a substitute, the changes were 3 changes. One is the definitions. It did allow any services designated by the Commissioner as shoppable by healthcare consumers, so that is an addition there. And the quality metrics, if you may remember that we use HCC, the hierarchical condition categorical methodology for Medicare. So obviously everyone's insurance is not Medicare, so that was changed or added an or there on line 65. Or a nationally recognized healthcare quality reporting standard designated by the Commissioner. And that's something like PIQ or HCC or HCQA, or some of those pseudonyms that stand for quality in the health insurance industry that's well recognized. And then the last change, again, is minimum on line 100 through 102. It took HMOs out of the price portion relating to that because they pay per member per month, but it kept them in the quality portion. So the act becomes effective on 2021. That was already in there to allow that to match up with the feds. So if there are no questions, Mr. President, I'll be happy to yield the well.
You have no questions.
Thank you.
Does any other senator wish to speak for or against the motion? The chair sees none. The senator from the 1st has moved that the Senate agree to the House substitute to Senate Bill 303. All those in favor of the motion will vote yea. Opposed, nay. The secretary will unlock the machine. Have all senators voted? Easy for me to say. Have all senators voted? All right, have all senators voted? We got a thumbs up from the aisle. Mr. Secretary, please close the machine. On the motion, the yeas are 46, the nays are 0, and the Senate has agreed to the House substitute to Senate Bill 303. Chair recognizes the senator from the 3rd for a motion.
Thank you, Mr. President. I move that the Senate agree to the House substitute to Senate Bill 38.
Mr. Secretary, can you please read the caption?
Senate Bill 38 by Senators Ligon of the 3rd and Cowser of the 46th, the bill to be entitled an act to amend Title 15 of the Official Code of Georgia annotated relating to courts so as to exclude certain types of filings from the electronic filing requirements of state and superior court and for other purposes. Mr. President, the House has offered the following substitute to Senate Bill 38, a bill to be entitled an act to amend Chapter 8 of Title 36 of the Official Code of Georgia annotated relating to county police so as to provide a method for the abolition of a county police department and returning the law enforcement functions of such department to the sheriff of the county and for other purposes. That completes the order, Mr. President.
Chair recognizes the senator from the 3rd to speak to his motion.
Thank you, Mr. President. Senate Bill 38 now incorporates Senate Bill 317, which passed out of the Government Oversight Committee. And this bill basically creates a process where the voters of a county, and we're doing this for Glenn County, would be allowed to vote as to whether or not they would like to transfer the police power from the county sheriff's department to the county sheriff's department. The question that would be placed on the ballot was previously voted on out of this chamber earlier this week, Senate Bill 509. The genesis of this bill really began with a Glenn County grand jury report in September of 2019, which indicated that there were issues of misconduct within the department that were not documented, concealed, ignored. They documented various other issues that are of concern, and ultimately recommended that this question be placed before the people, the voters of Glenn County, to make the determination of how law enforcement within this county should be structured. We filed 17 early in January, 317 in January as a result of this request. Through discussions, we had hoped that significant changes would be made. Those issues were never really addressed. Then unfortunately on February 23rd, we have the incident in Glenn County with Ahmaud Arbery. He was tragically shot and killed. Unfortunately, the leadership within the department chose not to refer this to the GBI, even though one of the perpetrators had a connection with various law enforcement agencies in Glenn County. And of course, no arrests were made at that time. Later, as you all know, the GBI did become involved and the arrests were made. But even after all of this, no significant changes have been made within the leadership. We're still operating under an interim chief. And the fact is that in the business world, when things go wrong, when a series of things go wrong, there's a change of leadership. New direction is provided to those who work within that company to turn it around. The same is true in the military. When there's a failure which goes wrong, there's a change which is made, and things are addressed so that those troops within that unit can have the support and leadership that they need to fulfill their duties. Well, the same thing is true for the people of Glenn County and for the officers that work hard and that serve within that department. It's time for reforms to be made. It's time for the people of Glenn County to be able to make those decisions, to choose the structure of law enforcement within their county. There are feelings held by many there that if this is transferred to the Sheriff's Department, which is directly elected by the people, that there will be more accountability, a greater desire to respond to the needs and concerns of the people within that county. So, Mr. President, I will be glad to answer any questions that anyone here may have, but I do ask for your support for this bill.
Chair recognizes the senator from the 42nd with a question.
Thank you, Mr. President. Will the senator yield?
I will.
Senator, isn't it true that the problems with this particular police department go back a number of years with the Caroline Small case and the more recent incident as well? You can probably elaborate, but with the deputy who unfortunately killed his ex-wife, but
boyfriend.
Some mistakes were made by the department there as well.
There have been issues that have been going back for some time. You're correct in that. And I can just tell you that the people of the county would like to be able to exercise their voice and make a decision on this issue. And hopefully this will bring about some reforms. And just so that you and everyone else, those who may be listening, will know, having a sheriff administer your law enforcement is not unusual. In fact, it is what is done in the majority of the counties in this state. There are only 14 counties that have a county police department. And there are counties in recent history that have actually transferred their law enforcement to the sheriff's office. That was done in Macon-Bibb County, I believe, and that was done just a few years ago. That's a much larger metropolitan area than Glenn County, and it has worked very well there. So,
thank you.
You have no more questions.
thank you, Mr. President.
Does any other senator wish to speak for or against the motion? The chair sees none. The senator from the 3rd has moved that the Senate agree to the House substitute to Senate Bill 38. All those in favor of the motion will vote yea. Opposed, nay. The secretary will unlock the machine. All senators, please enter the chamber and vote your machines. Have all senators voted? Mr. Secretary, please close the machine. On the motion, the yeas are 47, the nays are 0, and the motion passes. Chair recognizes the Majority Leader.
Thank you, Mr. President. I move that the Senate stand adjourned until 10 o'clock on Tuesday, 23 June 2020.
Mr. Secretary, any announcements?
The Rules Committee will meet upon adjournment. All other committee meetings that were scheduled for this afternoon have been canceled. Tuesday's committee schedule is posted on the display. That completes the order, Mr. President.
Chair would like to thank everybody. After a short weekend and a long day, we passed 19 bills, took up a number of special actions, had lots of fits and starts throughout the day, and everybody continues to have a smile on their face. Thanks for your hard work. Look forward to seeing everybody tomorrow. Oh, yeah, and your dinner's waiting for you over there. You can take it with you if you don't want to stay. The Majority Leader has moved that the Senate stand adjourned until Tuesday, June 23rd, 2020 at 10 a.m. All those in favor of the motion signify by saying aye. Opposed, no. The ayes always have it, and the Senate stands adjourned.